That's right, everybody. That is right. The magic nectar, otherwise known as coffee for the mighty Psycho. Now, I know that at least currently, I think it says it's 85 outside, and I hate having to have AC on. The last few days have been 100 plus. Okay, ridiculous, total ridiculous in regards to this heat wave. I don't know about the rest of you guys, outside of the Midwest, but this is just a bit obnoxious, and we only just turned into July. We still got a long way to go to Labor Day, ladies and gentlemen, a long way to go. Now, once again, I know I'm ending up doing a early broadcast today because I do have some things I need to take care of at the back end of this day. But like I said, if it's Broyle City where you live, I don't know. I took a look at the rest of the week, and it does not look good, ladies and gentlemen. I think Thursday, Friday might be mid-80s. The rest of it is going to be 95 plus, and that doesn't even count for the heat index. Now, saying that, we just had Thursday, we had Willie Nelson come here. Well, he's from Texas, so he ought to be able to handle. I think he's 90 years old, I think. And so, anyways, it was just so broiling out there. That's why I didn't even attempt to go. It just didn't, and that's all there is to it. I don't know. Every time that I, try to go to a decent concert, at least the last few summers, the weather has been 100 plus degrees. That's why I was denied going to go see last year Chicago and Brian Wilson. But I had a friend of mine tell me Chicago is great and Brian Wilson wasn't. And I'm like, oh, God. And that's sad. That's sad. Unless Brian was having an off night, I guess Al did a decent job. That's what I heard. And this guy that told me this was a mega Beach Boys fan, okay? And I just, there's no shelter. And I remember that it was 105 degrees. And I'm like, I can't do it. Maybe when we were younger, we could get away with that, stay hydrated, blah, 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 blah. When you get to be in your mid-50s and up, it's just not doable anymore. That's all there is to it. So, yeah, so Willie Nelson and his family tour came through here on Thursday. Not next week. The week after, I think, we've got Foreigner, or should I say the tribute band Foreigner. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have gone and seen the Foreigner tour, now, the current Foreigner tour. And if you have, throw in the comments here, please, if Mick Jones shows up on stage at all, because he is the only member of Foreigner. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, well, 81, that's slightly better. But yeah, I mean, that's why I could care less about, I saw Foreigner in 2005. I really wish I could have seen him with Lou, but I was a little late on that one. And so the only reason why I would go is not for Foreigner. I want to go for the opener for once, which is Loverboy. Yeah, and it's all the original members except for the bass player, who died in a sailing accident. He drowned to death over 20 years ago. But the rest of the lineup is still, it's those classic 80s records. I tried explaining to my kid, who's 28, who Loverboy was, but he didn't know who they were. I said, you know what, just go YouTube it. That's what I said. But that's going to be July 14th. And then, oh boy, what is it? A couple weeks later, Culture Club and Berlin and Howard Jones. Yeah, that'll be a couple weeks later. And then the only other one that sounded anything interesting to me, Tenacious D will be making an appearance here in town. Yeah, so I might go see Tenacious. Hey Mick, how's it going? I'm beginning to realize that the little part of the broadcast where I wasn't here, this tablet likes to do this to me, whether I'm on StreamYard or watching a YouTube video. It will kick me off, even if I'm watching, like, let's say Rachel's show, you know, and I watch a couple minutes and then it'll kick me off. What I normally have to do to at least watch YouTube is that I got to restart to get that going. At least with StreamYard, when it kicks me off, I just go back into the StreamYard portal and go back into my studio. So it's not perfect, ladies and gentlemen, far from it. All right, so in case, I really didn't have a lot to work with here today. That's why this is only going to be on about an hour show. But let me explain. Of course, we just posted this a couple hours ago. The new Jukebox from Hell is up, episode 12, for anybody that's got the scorecard. And of course, we're looking at the 1978 album from Black Oak, I'd Rather Be Sailing, which is on Capricorn Records. This one here, signed by Jim Dandy and Ricky Lee Reynolds. Ricky's not on this album. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm an autographed chowhound, I try to stop the band members that don't involve being on albums to not sign those albums, because it'd be pointless. I understand the musicians being nice, but the musician ought to be able to figure out, oh, I didn't play on this album. But that's okay, because rest in peace, Ricky Lee. He's been gone now, geez, I think almost 2 years. Supposedly there's going to be a new Black Oak album, actually. It's going to be, I'm led to believe it's all covers, though. All covers on Cleopatra/Purple Pyramid Records. But, so the next Jukebox from Hell is going to be, and thanks to George Lopez, George Music for All 4 Seasons, I screwed up at the end of the video. I got done talking to my buddy Anthony, and I called him Anthony. George, I called him Anthony on accident, and I didn't mean to do that. But needless to say, we're going to go into the 1969 concept album for the 4 Seasons, Genuine Imitation Life Gazette. We're going to go into that. Jake Holmes, Playground of My Mind, Dazed and Confused, wrote those. He has dabbled with this album, so I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to go. I'm actually enjoying I know I'm taking little different approaches with some of the different records this time around. If you haven't seen the George Harrison Gone Tropo, go look at that. It finally broke 100 views. And then a new music review that's going to be coming up. The new one from the Midnight Callers. Now, I know that other people, like I think Stephen Schnee and I think maybe Matthew Street might have already reviewed this, but there's no harm in another review. So, Midnight Callers coming soon, along with, it's in the mail, and I'm a little late sometimes with these albums, okay? They might have been on the radar for some people like this, For me, it takes a while, finances and stuff. But the latest Joey Milland from Badfinger, his solo album with special guests, including Mickey Dolenz, sings on a track. And of course, if it's anything Monkees, I'm going to get it. But because it's also Badfinger, because of Joey, that's going to be good. It's going to be almost the best of both worlds, per se. Trying to think what else here. How are you guys doing, the three people that are here watching? Is there another record auction going on again? You know what? I'm going to tell you something, guys. I'm really surprised, truthfully, that YouTube allows record auctions. You know how things are nowadays. I'm surprised that they do it and get away with it. I wonder how long that's going to last. I don't know. So let's see. What else was I going to talk? Happy birthday to Deborah Harry from Blondie. Yeah. I like her 70s stuff. Okay. I like her 70s stuff. I'm trying to think. I pretty much got, let's see. What was the album? The Hunter. From 82? I think it came out in 82. I was kind of disappointed with that album. And that was like the last album before they all broke up. And then Deborah Harry did the Cuckoo album, with that very strange cover from R.L. Geiger. That is a strange album cover. All those needles going through her face. Always disturbed me. But yeah, her birthday, my buddy John D. LeVan, who is a member of the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. He is one of the founders of the Tulsa Sound, along with Leon Russell and J.J. Cale. And John D. LeVan can be added to that list. Hello there, Dave. How are you? Let's talk Beatles for a second. I know as soon as everybody else disappears out of the room, but bear with me, okay? Because from last week's episode, and we were talking about the Anthology 4, so I tripped on YouTube, and it only was put out maybe about 6 days ago. Now, I'm just saying on this channel it was 6 days ago. I only heard it this morning, so bear with me on this one, but maybe it's been out for a while. The demo, they're calling it demo for Misery, the song Misery, but they're also saying maybe that it was recorded at the Cavern Club, the demo. And so Misery was originally, I am told, written for Helen Shapiro. They were going to give the song to Helen Shapiro. That's why when the demo was done, the lyrics are slightly different to be in a woman's point of view in the song, as opposed to when the Beatles covered it, they turned it into a male point of view. So I think that's pretty neat. The demo sounded really nice. I liked it. You can hear their harmonies, John and Paul's, very beautifully. George's guitar work is still nice. So, maybe another one of those demos to add to Anthology 4. Yeah, I still think we got a good 2.5 hours. So, how about this? Old school Kiss fans. Yeah, I know. Some people like them, some people hate them. I always seem to like them, at least most of their stuff. Sonic Poop, that's what I call Sonic Boom. I'm not a big fan of that album. And I'm probably not a big fan of, oh God, what was it? Was it Asylum? Crazy Night? It was one of those two. Wasn't a big fan of those albums. So like 2 or 3 albums I wasn't a big fan of for Kiss. But I like the rest, seriously. I even like Monster. Monster was a decent album for 2012. But they haven't recorded anything new since. Well, of course, they went off and they said that being that this is the, and I have to stress this here, the last tour dates of the Ha 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 Farewell Tour. Now, I think it was Gene or Paul, opened their mouth months ago saying, we're not done as a live band, we're just going to only do one-offs. So just no more tour. December 1st and 2nd, Madison Square Garden, and supposedly Peter and Ace are not going to be at those two shows. And I'm just sitting here and I'm going, look, you know, most rock bands are dysfunctional. I think we can all pretty much agree on this, okay? Whether it's minor dysfunction or major dysfunction, whether it be ego-driven, booze-driven, drug-driven, or something else, money-driven, okay? I think we can agree that most bands have some type of a level of dysfunction. Well, the smart thing, I think in this case, if this is really the last shows, both of them, is you need to get Bruce Kulick. I think Bruce Kulick will show up. I really do. I think he will show up. And you know, he'll play on something. He'll play on something. I mean, I know Lick It Up and Heaven's on Fire have been in the sets, but he didn't play on those records. So maybe they could come up with one or two things for Bruce to do. Now, unfortunately, Vinnie Vincent is banned. Well, you know what? I think for one night of those two, he doesn't have to be there for both. You know, maybe go, okay, look, Vinny, we really don't really care for this, but there's a lot of fans out there that want to see the I Love It Loud and Lick It Up. Come on over, we'll pay you 20 grand to do 2 songs, and you know, that's it. I think that maybe would have worked out. Okay, so then you'd have 2 surprise guests, right? But we all know that's not going to happen. And then, like I said, you get Ace and Peter for the encore. Like they do 2 or 3 song encore. That would be the smartest thing to do. But it's not going to happen. Too many sniping, too many backstabbing, backbiting. It's like, and it's too bad because 50 years, that's a long ass time. Technically, they should have broke up in 2001. Maybe we'd have a little more respect for the band. Because, I don't know. I just, ever since 2001, in my opinion, they've been milking it. Gene and Paul have been milking it since then. Am I saying that because I'm an Ace Peter fan? No. I actually do like Eric Singer's drum work. I liked it on the Kiss records of the 90s. I liked his drumming on Alice Cooper, the couple albums he was on, and Badlands, an excellent band. So no, I think, and Tommy Thayer from Black and Blue. I like Black and Blue. I've got Nasty Nasty in the collection. That's the one that Gene produced, and Peter Criss sings backgrounds. 3 tracks, if I remember correctly. So you got that. But yeah, so Kiss about ready to. Aerosmith, of course, is having that big greatest hits. I think it's 50 tunes. And I'm sitting here going, again? Because Aerosmith has had how many greatest hits since 1978? I lost count. I want to say 5 or 6. But I don't see very much new to the table. I really, really don't. There hasn't been an Aerosmith album since 2012. Yeah. So, I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah. So how are you guys out there, the four of you that are in here? Like I said, I guess I must have picked a bad time to do this. But you know what? My schedules get really screwy. If it's not, I'm back to work though. But like I said, I got to use this. I'm a cashier. That's what I'm doing. Good news though is that my surgery has been scheduled for late September. So new kneecap. Oh, do I need it. But I'm not going to lie, when it gets to be that time frame, I may be putting up a GoFundMe because even though I'm getting 60% disability, I'm going to need money. I've been selling my collection. You know, I've been selling it one box at a time. I still got a respectable amount, but if I'm not listening to it, you know, I got to do what I got to do. You know, times are tough. It's 2023. I think you guys understand that. I think you really do. Oh, man. It's taken a while for this AC to kick in. It does sometimes. So I'm trying to think here. Was there anything else on the board that I needed to talk to you about? Oh, maybe in the next week, 10 days roughly, there's some potential for cutting some deals, maybe on some reasonable vinyl, I hope. They could have had that last show for free in Central Park, but you know what? Wouldn't that have been something? Wouldn't that have actually been something if Kiss would have done, if not the last show for free in Central Park, but just have a show in Central Park? It would have been nuts. I'm told, and maybe one of you guys can put in the comments here, that 1981 Simon and Garfunkel Central Park concert was like the most attended free Central Park concert over there. I like Simon and Garfunkel. Okay, I do. Once again, another type of dysfunction that I don't understand. I've heard all kinds of different things. Supposedly, one of the root problems, if you will, has to go all the way back to the mid or late 50s. Something about Paul Simon cut a deal, like a side deal for some publishing, and I'm just like going, jeez. You know, it's like, seriously, guys? That's what supposedly they were snapping about. That's okay. That is all. Oh, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun, to be honest with you. Hi, Dwayne. How are you? So we got Mike and Dwayne and Dave and Mick and everybody else here. But yeah, this isn't going to be really long either. I just wanted to come up on here. I try to do this at least once a week, whether I've got stuff for you guys or not. But yeah, so hopefully I might be able to try to cut deals over the next 7 to 10 days. That's funny. That's funny. Canada Day today, huh? Well, I think we're all doing okay. Try to stay cool. I mean, but let's face it, okay? As far as for Simon and Garfunkel, their solo output, gee, who had the bigger, better solo output? Yeah, I think we know. I think we know. That's right, eh? Oh, excuse me. I haven't slept really well the last few days, but because of his knee, it hasn't helped. I'll be so happy in late September when I get that new one put in. Although they're saying 6 to 8 weeks, so that means that I probably will not be returning to work until the week of Thanksgiving's my guess. The week of Thanksgiving and the week before Thanksgiving. That'll probably be when I'll be, you know, if I go back. I stress the word if. I hope I have something else by then. That would be very nice. But yeah, so I guess Paul's got a new solo album coming out, Paul Simon, pretty soon. I can't remember what the name of it's called. Something about Psalm, isn't it? We just lost power here due to a bad storm. Power was out for an hour. Just came back in time so I could hit the shower before I look at you. There you go. There you go. Oh yeah, and everybody here, at least in the U.S. And the U.S. territories, happy 4th of July to you coming up Tuesday. Today was my day off. I've got to work Sunday through Tuesday, so I don't really care, to be honest with you. I mean, happy birthday, America 200, and let's see if I can get this right here. So 247th birthday, America. How much longer will we be having America, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully for a while, but we gotta leave stuff to our kids and our grandchildren, you know. You got to. Cannot let the bad guys win. What do I mean by bad guys? Just simply people that are, I don't know, that want to harm us Americans, you know, and just not cool. Ah, 247. There's supposed to be fireworks at the brewery tonight, or so I'm told. Well, hopefully, as long as they're not. Well, actually, because it's in a brewery, would some of it be bottle rockets? See what I did there? That's horrible. Beer bottle rockets. Probably not much longer. I'm like Chaplin. I consider myself a resident of the planet rather than any one country. Well, yeah, I get it. I think, truthfully, if people could just be kind to each other. That's the thing I've always... Yeah, I know that was bad. I think, truthfully, if people would just be kind to each other. That's the important thing here, you know? Yes, be kind, rewind. So, because I found out that I'm going to be having this surgery in late September, there are several things I will not be able to go to, which will bum me out, but this knee surgery is more important. There's a Comic-Con with a couple minor wrestling stars from back in the day that I won't be able to go to. I'm trying to see if I can talk to, I think there's a guy, though, that's got a small shop, and I think he's going to be a vendor at that Comic-Con, and if he is, maybe I could scrape up money to get at least some signed 8x10s. We got from WCW, The Demon, which of course is the wrestling character that looked like Gene Simmons from Kiss. And Bushwhacker Luke, one of the Bushwhackers, ladies and gentlemen. They're both going to be in Joplin, Missouri. So any of you Missouri people or borderline Kansas, Missouri, or whatever, that'll be September 23rd. So you guys can enjoy that. September 26th to September 27th on my birthday, which I'll be back home by then, but I am not going to be in any mood to watch a concert. I have a healing. The Beach Boys will be here. We're talking about the Mike Love, Bruce Johnston Beach Boys. Yeah, about 80 days roughly. That's what I got. They probably do, or maybe they just incorporate everything now, you know. Like I said, in Little Rock in September also, but it's before my surgery. They're bringing William Shatner. He's coming. Paul Williams, he'll be here. They just added this week Christine Ricci will be here. So if you guys remember who Christine Ricci is, Casper, Addams Family, movies back in the day. Probably other stuff too. But, so I'm not going to be able to see the Beach Boys. Yeah, Addams Family. So they, in fact, my daughter showed me the Christie. I think that's the, and I'm like going, well, I can't drive down to Little Rock, not the way my car is. And I'm not going to torture my girlfriend because she's got a better car than me. And I'm like, I'm not going to torture my girlfriend to allow me, even though I pay gas, to drive 3 hours down to go see one celebrity and then turn around and leave, which would be Paul Williams. I'd love to see Paul Williams. I've got some albums of his I would love to get signed. But yeah, so and then whoever follows the Beach Boys, I guess they let go of John Cowsill and another band member. So John Cowsill, of course, he was the drummer on and off for God knows how many years, and he, of course, is one of the original members of the Cowsills. He's pretty much a free agent, I guess, right now. He worked on a song with some band called Action Skulls. I just read that today. And next week on the East Coast, he is going to be guest drumming and singing with the Smithereens. So that'll be nice. Years ago, my buddy and I contemplated going to the Beatle Fest. Boy. You know, I'll tell you this. As much as I would have loved to have gone to a Beatle Fest, Chicago had Monkees conventions. And the one year that Davey, Mickey, and Peter showed up at the convention and stayed to sign autographs, I'm like, oh my God. I would have been in near heaven, you know, for that, truthfully. And back then, I just got out of high school. So, yeah, I probably wasn't even 20 yet. And I would have loved to have gone to that con. I don't know. I had some people ask me if I was going to get the new 7A release of the 55th anniversary of the Tommy Boy's Bobby Hart, Wonder What She's Doing Tonight LP or CD. And I'm like, probably, if anything, it's going to be the CD. But I'm not getting it right away because, oh, look, at around 1994, I went to a Beatle con at Stanford. Davey, wow. See, now that would have been cool. That would have been cool to see Davey back then. I met him twice, 88 and 2005. That's when I met Davey. He was the one I met the most. I met Mickey and Peter once each. Peter, 94? Yeah, I think 94, early 95. And then Mickey was 2010. And then, like I said, I got a wave and a chuckle for Mike Nesmith, 2013. But I didn't get to meet Mike. I would have loved to have met Mike. But he didn't come anywhere near me. I probably would have given him a huge hug. Yeah, I did make him laugh. And that, you know, believe it or not, I made him laugh. And because I had a T-shirt on. It was a Snoopy shirt. It was in red. And it said, "Chicks dig me," and a bunch of Woodstocks were all around the Snoopy. That's why Mike was laughing. He liked that one. And then I made Davey chuckle a couple times back when I saw him in 05. I've got, what was it, in 88, I got him to sign, because he came to Marshall Field's downtown Chicago. He did a 3-song mini concert, and it was for the book, They Made a Monkey Out of Me, which I've got that still signed. And then when I saw him in 2005, I bought his Daydream Believer book and got him to personally sign that to me. And he was kind enough to sign a few albums for me, too. Oh, sorry. I'm an idiot. Who's Norm Rossington? I don't know who Norm Rossington is. Enlighten me with Norm Rossington. But, so yeah. Trying to think here. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of half out of it. I think it's probably just because I'm really tired. But I wanted to be on here. Like I said, I try to be on here at least for a little bit when I can on Saturdays. But yeah, back to the original topic at hand. So hopefully I can maybe cut some deals with some people. He was a British actor that appeared in Lawrence of Arabia. Oh, really? He was, okay. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. I do have Hard Day's Night, the Criterion Collection, and I have not watched that Criterion DVD. I think the last time I saw Hard Day's Night was either on television in the 80s. What's kind of funny about Chicagoland back in the late 70s, early 80s, Channel 44 was an awesome station sometimes. They would just play these Saturday or Sunday afternoon movies. And that's how, believe it or not, through that channel, I saw Hard Day's Night at Magical Mystery Tour. Back in the day, was through Channel 44. And well, yeah, I get that, but see, now it's pretty cool that you went and saw him in '64. You know, that changed a lot of musicians that saw that movie. A lot of young men that saw that movie in '64, and they were like, we could do this. I mean, I remember, what was it? Some of the Birds. Some of the Birds, when they weren't even the Birds yet. I think they were the Jet Set. That was what they were called back then. And they all went to the theater to see that movie, and lo and behold, they're like, we can do this. We can do this. And, of course, they end up being the Birds, yeah. Which I love that band. They're very underrated. Of course, a lot of dysfunction in that damn band, too. That's right. McGuinn was definitely the leader. I will tell you that. You throw that name out, but that definitely, he was the leader, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. I would say underneath him would probably be Chris Hillman. That's fair enough. You have yourself a good one. Take care. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, so I mean, and then you got a young Phil Collins, who he's an extra in the live concert sequence there in Hard Day's Night. He's just a teenager, I think. And I thought that was kind of cool that he shows up in there. But so let's see, possibly next week after the 4th, of course. Might be going to look at a bunch of 78s. That's a good possibility. There might be a field. Oh, God, that is. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so after the 4th, I might go do the 78s thing. And then Wednesday, I'm going to make a short little trip since I have to go down and get some dental work done. So I'm going to go hit up a bunch of places I haven't been to in a while and see if I get anywhere. I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. There might be 4 or 5 different shops I might be hitting up. So who knows? I might get something out of that. And then I'm hoping to bump into a friend of mine, and I'm hoping to be doing a little trading, because there's certain things that he recently acquired that I really would love to have in my collection. That's all I'm going to say right now about that. But we'll see. Trying to think here. Wow, is that maybe it? That might be it. I don't really think I got anything else on the boards right now, unless somebody can come up with something before I disappear. I mean, I know I've only been on 40 minutes. I guess if I cut out short of an hour that would make me look like a liar, right? Hour of Power. That I took that just because I was thinking of superstar Billy Graham, the 70s, 80s wrestler. Speaking about that kind of wrestling and stuff, the new episode of Dark Side of the Ring came out with Junkyard Dog. Oh boy, you know, I'll tell you, I love all the old schoolers. I was this close. This is like one of the few regrets for some of the indie shows I used to go to in the 90s, okay? And I'm sorry, I don't know what year this was, okay? But I want to say it was a year or less. Yeah, and Sheiky Baby too. At least I got to meet Iron Sheik at least in 2010. I was very thankful. I got to see him wrestle in the 90s at an indie show. But that was a very short match. So, yeah, JYD came to Hebron High School in Hebron, Illinois. Very small town. From Hebron, if you drove 10 minutes, I'd say maybe no more than 15 minutes, you'd be over in Wisconsin. And when I found out that he was coming to Hebron High School, I got like all excited because I wanted to go, and then something happened. And that's why I wasn't able to go. He was the main person on the card, but they also had another guy, and we don't want to confuse this here, but Mr. Electricity, Steve Regal, not the British Steve Regal. There's a difference. Mr. Electricity, if I remember correctly, was either NWA or AWA, and they also dabbled on WCW in their early days. But they were both on the card. And, yeah, to see JYD would have been cool, even though by that time, yes, he was, I guess, I don't want to say fat, but paunchy and stuff, but it's like, it's JYD, damn it. I would have loved to have seen him. In fact, when I'm looking right now at my signed Coco Beware mimeograph picture, because Coco ends up in the episode of Dark Side. He ends up there. Tony Atlas ends up in that episode. Teddy Long. Teddy Long is supposed to be coming to Pryor, Oklahoma in early August along with Mr. Anderson and somebody else for the life of me. And the price is actually pretty reasonable. This is for an indie show in Pryor, Oklahoma. And I think my friend's actually, Donna Jo Cat Lady, she's looking at possibly, I'm like being interested in it. And, in half of a way I'd be too. Because I remember Teddy Long. I remember, you 80s people are going to remember that tag team Doom from WCW. Teddy Long and Doom. And if I also remember correctly, he was one of the managers of Harlem Heat. So, yeah, Teddy's got a long history, and then I think he ended up being a ref for a while and briefly a commentator. He was like anything and everything from like the 80s on anyway. So I wouldn't mind meeting Teddy Long. That'd be all right. And some tells me I met Mr. Anderson way long time ago in the Indies, but for the life of me, I can't remember. But yeah, that Dark Side of the Ring, I love that series. That one and the episode before that, which was Matt Bourne, he started out, if I remember correctly, in the AWA or NWA. I always get those two mixed up. And of course, he turns into Doink the Clown. That was his big gimmick, was Doink. And after he was fired from WWF, because I was back in WWF, they ended up getting Steve Kern ended up doing it, and then somebody else ended up doing it. I'm led to believe there was 3 different Doinks at one point or another. And in 2002 or 2003, there was an indie show. Yeah, The Real Doink. That's right, Matt Bourne. the first time the Beatles played the Ed Sullivan Theater, Sigourney Weaver, did not know that about Sigourney Weaver. That's an interesting trivia. Thank you. But yeah, and when I went in 2002, 2003 to the charity wrestling match for the NAWF, that was the name of the league, out of Beloit, Wisconsin, they showed 5 different people on the wrestling poster. And I'm like, the tickets were reasonably priced. And I'm like, let's go. So I ended up taking, at that time, it was one of my some of my fiance's kids. So the ones that did show up, King Kong Bundy, he was there. Remember him against Hulk Hogan in one of the WrestleManias? You betcha. So King Kong Bundy, he was there. He was more of a manager in this match. He did do like a wrestling move or two, but mostly he was a manager. So King Kong Bundy, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he was there too, and this was shortly after his cancer surgery. He had stomach cancer, and this was like literally his first return from that operation. And then Gangrel, which Gangrel, of course, Edge Christian, the Brood, and Gangrel was coming back from back surgery at this time. So 2 out of those 3 were rehabbing, first time back. And then Doink was supposed to be on the card. And rumor has it was the real Doink. Seriously, the real Doink was supposed to be there. He was a no-show. And Luna Vachon was still married to Gangrel, if I remember correctly. And she was going to be in Gangrel's corner. Well, Gangrel told us after the match that she was really sick. And she was still in the hotel room in Beloit, Wisconsin. And I'm just like, wow, that's too bad. So it would have been nice to have met Doink and Luna Vachon because they're both gone. They've both been gone for a while now. I don't know. But, so yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that Beatles being at Ed Sullivan, February 9th, 2024, it's going to be 60 years. My God, 60 years. Who would have thought that 60 years later, we would still be talking about one of the all-time best groups ever in rock and roll music existence? 60 years. And, by that time, it'll be 61 years since the Please Please Me album in the UK. And this coming October, it'll be 61 years since Love Me Do. It's a long time, and we still have Paul and Ringo. I know some of you people are going to go, you mean the fake Paul? Well, take it or leave it, okay? The fake Paul's almost been around just as long as the real Paul, and then some. I don't know, whatever. I thought I heard something about, I don't know how true it is, that Paul's working on another album, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I want another album. You know what I'm saying? I like McCartney, okay? I'm a Beatles fan. I'm a solo Beatles fan, but yeah. Yeah, you're telling me January 1st will be 62 years since he got that little phrase. And you know what? The Decca tapes are on YouTube. I'll tell you, that's one thing that I really would like to get eventually if I could find it. Because when they put it out in 82, the price was a little ridiculous even for me. It was a Decca tapes. Jeez, the Decca tapes, something else, and there was a picture disc. I think it was 2. signed by Pete Best back in '82. That whole thing was like a 3-record set, if I remember right. Very expensive back in '82. And I'd like to find that, but I can't afford it. I've got a Pete Best autograph, thank God. I'd like to get another one. Maybe I will between now and the end of the year, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But, yeah, that, and I was too young, really. Well, okay, I started on Ford. Like I said, I've known about porn mags since 13, only because I discovered the stash I discovered. But I didn't know about that in '82 that they put out through Wii magazine, OUI, and you had to have the order form from the issue of Wii. And it was a special offer through the magazine, and I think it came on their label too. And it was 2 of the Beatles songs from the deck of tapes, specifically through Wii magazine as a special offer, which I thought that was just so weird. I mean, what other time are you going to come across a Beatle offer in a porn magazine? But it happened. Look it up yourself if you don't believe me. But that 45 is semi-desirable, honestly. I heard it goes for, well, it ain't cheap. I'll just say that. I remember when my record store guy that I used to go to all through the 80s, he had all the Decagon 45s, Decagon, all the colored vinyl. He had, if I remember correctly, I think they came in a set of 20 songs, right? So 10. And so it was 10 45s in different colors. I remember that. And it was ridiculously expensive. There was no way I was going to be able to do that. You know, I was just a teenager. I was 15 in '82. I mean, I just started having a paycheck job, barely, at the tail end of 15. I still wish I had my original first collection. I had a lot of cool Beatles stuff in there. I did. I kind of miss some of those records. I do. But I have some cool records still from the Fab Four. I do. I found some very funky looking ones, and I've got, I don't know, I got some odd stuff. But, you know, I guess obviously the Butcher cover, I would like to get a Butcher. Someday I would get one. I don't know how, when, or why, but I would love to get a Butcher. I don't care what state, first, second, third state, I don't care. I just would like to have one to say, hey, I got a Butcher. And then state on there, don't sell this for $1, kids. When I die, this is worth more than $1. Or I'll haunt their ass. But over the years, I've got, let's see, I've got the MGM album, I've got the MGM album, I've got the Atco album, I've got, and I found those reasonably priced, actually. The Atco I only paid $1.49 for, and it was in nice shape. And then the MGM one, I think I only paid $15, and that one was in nice shape. And I do have, of course, VJ introducing the Beatles. I got that, and it's legit. So, I mean, I've got some early stuff. I'm just looking for some of those 45s with the picture sleeves. You know? And, of course, I'm still missing a couple Monkeys 45s, too, like the back end of this stuff. I'm looking for Porpoise Song, and so let's see, I need Porpoise Song with this picture sleeve. Good Clean Fun with the picture sleeve. I've got Teardrop City with the picture sleeve. I got that. And I need to find I Love You Better. Oh my. That one's going to be real tough. That one only made it to number 100 in the Billboard charts in 1970. But those are the only Monkeys USA Cold Gem 45s I need. I think I got all the rest. But it took me a while just to get what I got, you know. None of us are made of money. Right? Right. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap this up. It's almost close to an hour, so I don't look too much like a liar. But I want everybody to have a good 4th of July weekend. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't liked and subscribed to Psycho's Platters, please do. I am very close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. I've been doing this for a very long time. And normally I don't really care about sub count, and I'm not going to lie to you. Once I hit that 1,000, whenever that is, it's probably the last time I'm really going to pay attention, because I just want to get to 1,000. I've been doing this for 12 years. It's taken me 12 years. And then there's all these other channels that, well, have more time on their hands and, you know, go off and post more content because they got more time on their hands. And they can get 1,000 subscribers in 3 years or less. I said, must be nice. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that, like I said, that Wii Beatles record would be really, really cool. Let me see. Since I got you guys still up here, maybe I could find out what we're talking about here, you know? And, oh, okay. So, that's funny that they're calling this an unofficial release, but according to Discogs, oh God, no, Neocross. It says, we presents the Silver Beatles. That's what the label says. Unofficial release, 1982. I don't know, that seems weird. It's got Like Dreamers Do and Love of the Loved. Maybe on both sides? Let's see. And anyways, they were showing $50 for that thing, at least on the website here. October 1982. Backstage is the record label. Yeah, Wii Magazine presents the Silver Beatles. Given away free by sending in a coupon found in the October 1982 issue of Wii Magazine, tied in with a Pete Best interview. That's why. It says, somebody commented, I'm sort of in the gray area with this one. It was one of the first legal, if you want to call it that, issuances of the UK Decca material. The sound quality's fine, but the boots sounded pretty good also. So, yeah. That's it. The three disc thing was Like Dreamers Do. It was a 3-disc set. With the Pete Best bit. That's what I'd like. I'd like to eventually find that. But you can listen to the stuff on YouTube. It's kind of cool. Oh, dear Lord. You know what? Let me tell you something, Victor, truthfully. I know you're being funny. And that's fine, because I get it. I can't stand Taylor Swift. Now, my late wife, back when Taylor was country, she liked Taylor Swift, but then she went pop and just was like not interested, which, you know, I'm like, oh, okay. She ended up going from Taylor Swift to, I think, one of the last people she liked that she started discovering before she died was Casey Musgrave. That's who she was starting to get. I mean, she's a 90s girl, okay? I mean, she was born in 78, but she was a 90s girl. So she liked all the alternative stuff, really. But she liked, like I said, she liked early Taylor, if you will, but she wouldn't like what the hell direction she's been in for the last few albums. And you know what? I could care less on any of that Taylor Swift stuff. That's the truth, too. If somebody gave me free tickets with a backstage meet and greet, I'd be like going, unless, and here's where the unless part comes. Normally I wouldn't do this, but if that happened, would I go get a Taylor Swift record or two? You betcha, because I'd get her to go sign it, and then I would wait a little bit and then spin it. Normally I don't do that. You should see the signed albums I have, because I'm a fan of bands and the solo stuff, and I have not ever sold any of the signed albums, truthfully, that I have picked up and met the musicians. I've given away a couple to friends, but I don't believe in selling signed albums. But for Taylor Swift, I would, because I could use the money. Oh, yeah? See, I don't watch her stuff, so I wouldn't know. But, yeah, so Taylor Swift, I am not a big fan of. I don't know. All right, guys. I appreciate all 7 of you that stuck around. I think that was the highest number I had here. Like I said, go check out my new Jukebox from Hell with Black Oak, Arkansas. That's the new one I posted today. After the 4th of July, I'll hopefully have Midnight Callers CD review. I'll have that out, and then hopefully at the back end of maybe next week, I'll have that Joey Milland, the newest solo album of his, to review too. So, and then of course, like I said, right after that, we'll have the next episode, Shoebox from Hell, will be 4 seasons for George. So, all right, guys, take care. God bless. Rock on. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, always powered by coffee each and every time. Stay safe. Don't blow off any fingers, okay? That's important. And keep your pets inside and put noise-canceling headphones on your little ones, because they'll get disturbed by the stuff, as opposed to liking Disturbed and going, ooh, ah. Yeah, I know that was bad. All right. I love you guys. Take care.